Screw 616. Fuck Earth Prime. This season, we're going multiversal. Super Nerdland brings you Graded Point 5.
Hey everybody, welcome to Graded Point 5. I'm your host Jason. With me tonight's a skeleton crew of Dick.
Hey.
And Wayne.
I would please if you would refer to me by my true name. It is Osmataz Buckshank. Thank you very much. No longer will you refer to me as from my slave name.
So can I just say that I feel like I've read this comic before?
Alright.
Seems familiar.
All of this seems really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think. Okay, so we're going to talk about a good book today.
Finally, right now.
I didn't know, we didn't think it was possible. Yeah, we could do this.
So, back in May to August of 96, written by Mark Waid and Alex Ross, drawn by Alex Ross, painted by Alex Ross, and pretty much Alex Ross from cover to cover. Talk about Kingdom Come.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everything that we were disappointed in with Earth X, reverse that.
Yeah, I mean, Earth X really had a couple new characters, but nothing good, nothing like Magog,
Yeah, I like that. That was they had Magog and all the like the children of the heroes and stuff like that. I thought that was cool because they didn't just become legacy characters; they became their own characters.
Yep.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was very just. It was the right way to handle it, as opposed to what Earth X did, and that's one of the things I really liked about it. Was an interesting look into with this what if is just to the left enough of the main continuity that it's believable for a what if, whereas I feel like Earth X was too much of a leap, so that it gets more into sort of a fantasy sort of a thing. Yeah. Whereas Kingdom Come is just Bruce Wayne didn't eat peanut butter on his toast one morning, kind of a thing.
Right, yeah. Whereas this is actually, hey, yes, a future tale, but this could actually happen. You could believe that this, if they ever progressed future-wise into DC, instead of doing a 1 year later, they did 20 years later or 30 years later. You're this is I could believe that this happened.
How many alternate futures in DC revolve around Captain Atom exploding?
You make an excellent point. Wasn't Armageddon 2001 also involved?
Yeah.
It eventually became Hawk, but it was originally supposed to be Captain Atom becoming the Monarch. Yeah.
Seriously, it's like DC just okay, we don't know the catalyst for this alternate reality. Captain Atom exploded.
Well, when you think about it, hell. In the Batman Superman run, one of the catalysts for one of their things was Captain Atom exploding.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, wow.
Because later on, when they brought him back to life, he's like, "Where am I?" And they said, "You were dead." He's like, "I was?" He said, "Yeah, we had a funeral." He said, "You did? Thank you."
So what I'm getting from this is Captain Atom is Deus Ex Machina, the character?
It's more or less not Deus Ex Machina, because Deus Ex Machina is kind of like your MacGuffin, where it just fixes everything.
He's what breaks it to begin with.
Yeah, he's the breaker. Yeah.
There's a term for that. It's similar to Deus Ex Machina. I can't remember it. My Latin is not good.
Yeah, but essentially, either he did it or he was the cause of it. Kind of.
Or whatever did it caused him to explode.
Yeah.
Either way, man. If Captain Atom's on the page, there's a 1 in 3 chance he's going to explode.
Hell, remember when he made his debut in Justice League Unlimited?
Yeah.
The first episode, when they switched over from Justice League to Justice League Unlimited, what was the first thing to happen to him? Fucking exploded. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's what Captain Atom does. He just fucking explodes.
They put him on. You know, they try to put him on par with the Big S, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember Superman ever just exploding.
So what you're telling me is he's basically Meltman from Action Movie Now?
With the power to melt.
I don't know how we got here, but
You know the fucked up thing, though? You also have Major Force, who's pretty much the same character.
right.
I don't remember him ever exploding.
The only time he exploded was also in Batman Superman, where after the moles in Captain Atom's team broke away, Katana had the great idea to cut off Major Force's hands. A being of living energy. I'm going to cut off his hands, which his hands is nothing but a containment suit. It's not like he's he's an energy form in there. The suit is containing the energy, and she had the bright idea to cut those off.
Dude, I just realized it. The perfect counterpart between Marvel and DC.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking Captain Atom and Simon Williams.
Yes.
How many stories revolve around both of them exploding?
How many stories involve Wonder Man exploding? Exactly. Either he explodes or he somehow reconstituted himself out of like some bullshit way. God, if they got rid of those characters, both companies would be very short on events, wouldn't they?
I figured out that's what I'm going to call this episode. And then Captain Atom exploded. And wiped out 1 million people.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd call them people.
So just to make sure people, y'all, if either of you have the thing open right now, because I want to. Well, as we're talking about it, I want to show. I want to point out some little Easter eggs.
Yeah, give me 1 sec. I gotta.
Yeah, and make sure. Yeah, open up your book. Your actual
somewhere
physical,
around here. Yeah,
your physical book.
Second.
Yes.
I'm digging through the piles of comics around my computer.
Yeah, exactly. And Jason, I'm sure you're doing the same.
I don't know what you're talking about. I already had it here and open.
There, exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about.
All right, what page?
Well, I'm just saying, let's start off with the first one, right? Not the very first one, but the first actual story panel.
Yeah, first story panel.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
very heavy
up to the story panel is really good.
Yeah, very reminiscent of the obviously overtones of the Bible are in this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially quoting Revelations. I mean, like I said, we start off with there were voices and thunder and lightnings and an earthquake. And just talking about that, and the image they show is an eagle, basically draped in the American flag, attacking a bat. That was good foreshadowing, except it wasn't what you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you first see it, you're thinking, "Oh, wait, I know where this is heading."
Yeah, the Dark Knight Returns scenario.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we all knows how that would work. That would be terrible for
Superman doesn't have a chance.
Exactly. It's like, well, had a good run. Let me get everything. Gotta zoom. I mean, I gotta put my green glasses on. And of course, next page, very heavy with imagery of death and destruction.
Oh yeah. There's horsemen there, the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
And I love who he's getting all this information from.
Yep. And then when you get there, you find out about I guess you could say how did Alex Ross always put it as he was the guide of the story.
Yeah.
Oh,
Norman?
Yeah. And in this, you find out he's talking to Wesley Dodd.
The original Sandman.
Yep. And he, because I like one of where he says, it's like, you're having nightmares. And he said, I'm not having nightmares, I'm having visions. what I thought was really cool when he was like, when Wesley got a little crazy and he started pulling out his, IVs and stuff, and he went and reached in, he got the old hat.
Yep.
Yeah.
The original Sandman hat. I was like, oh, that's cool. That was awesome. And he went through it, and he's reading Bible verses because Wesley died. Wesley Dodds died. He passed away. But he left our pastor here a little gift.
Oh yeah.
And so we show our he's going through the world as it is now, where there's really I hesitate to call them superheroes in this world. They're more super people.
Metahumans.
Yeah, they're metahumans, but they're saying you would be more inclined to call them super people because they're not really being heroic. It's like that, one of the things.
They're like a bunch of chaotic neutral.
Yeah, I mean, they had got rid of the villains years ago, and so what they do is they just fight each other.
It's just a giant dick wagging contest too.
Exactly, and the thing is, who can stop them? And I thought this was like one of the better thought bubbles of him. The pastor. He's like, according to the word of God, the meek would someday inherit the earth. He says someday, and then he says, but God never accounted for the mighty. And talks about, the metahumans.
Yeah. Why does that one look like Blackfire? Is it supposed to be Blackfire? Or like her daughter?
That is Starfire and Nightwing's daughter.
Makes sense why it looks like Blackfire then.
Yeah. I forgot her. She's got, I think it's Nightstar is her name. Is her code name.
God, I love the fucking art in this book so much.
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
Every single fucking page in this is just the right amount of the realistic style while still being good comic art, that it blows my mind that this, like, how can you be so talented as to write such a great story and then draw and paint every, you know what I mean? It's just like mad props to Alex Ross.
Yeah.
One of my favorite artists, one of my favorite writers. Just this is my favorite DC book now. I've not read a lot of DC, I will be perfectly honest about, but this is probably my favorite book so far, just purely based on art alone. I mean, I definitely have read this story before on Earth X, and I know I keep saying that, but it's true. But the story is great. The story is the meek shall inherit the earth. What about the mighty sort of thing that you were talking about?
Yeah.
That that sort of a thing has been done throughout many different mediums. All over storytelling many times. So it's a very classic sort of a story, but the thing here is that with such good art and everything, it doesn't leave anything to your imagination, and it's more impactful that way because it's so close to realism while still being this fantastical universe. You feel a closer connection to everything,
right?
Because of how good everything looks. It looks like it could be, like one of those people who like he stands on the street and like paints buildings and like landscapes and stuff.
Yeah,
it almost looks like that. No, and it blows me away with every single panel. Just everything from people's powers to everybody's perspective and everybody's proportions and everything are spot on. The angles are interesting. And I like if you scroll down here to where this bull dude whose name I can't remember off the top of my head is throwing this taxi cab.
I think it was simple as Minotaur. I think is his.
Yeah, it was not worth remembering. Anyway,
I believe in the back of the book. Because this is the trade paperback. It shows for each cover and every character, every character is in this book is in this cover, pretty much in these covers, and they give a breakdown of who's who. So
okay, cool. I'll have to go look at that then. But just the way that the page is like torn here to show different, perspective of what's going on, the whole chain of events and everything. It's cleverly done in such a way that you're still reading a comic, but it almost plays out kind of like a movie in a sense.
It reminds you of like a memory, almost like, you're remembering a lot of things at once, and the events are playing out in your head and, you're seeing it in flashes,
Yeah.
What gets me is like, in that, the one you're talking about, that's page 21, right?
Yes.
When you scroll down and then the look, because, they're about to all get the shocking news, right?
Yeah.
And you see the look on Darkstar's face.
Yeah.
That emotion is just from that. I've never just that's what we talk. That's why I talk about. I love Alex Ross's art because he doesn't have to say a word.
Yeah.
From what you saw on page 19 of her to that.
Yeah.
It's just like, you can see the emotion on her face, like it's like a holy shit face,
Yeah.
And here, and then on the next page, this is one of the first Easter eggs I want to point it out, where they're showing the basically, for our viewers, what happened is, and we'll get to why in a minute, but they're getting news on a big screen in Metropolis that Kansas has pretty much been destroyed. And I want to point out, you see the reporter there.
Yeah.
Does she look familiar to you?
Yeah, but I can't place it.
Yeah.
She was in a movie with Terminators.
Oh, wait, really?
Yep, that's that's Linda Hamilton.
Really?
Wow.
He used her as a reference for this. Yeah, that's what's really cool about Alex Ross. He said, he hides little things in his books like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right there you got Linda Hamilton, and it's funny. I had this book a while back, a wizard had put out about his how what he uses for references and stuff like that. A lot of like for like the preacher here, he uses his dad as a reference because his dad is like an old Pentecostal preacher, and he looks just like him. So,
Huh. And I'm just zipping through this, looking at pages. I love how Alex Ross does the Spectre.
yeah, I was getting ready to get to that because we're going through where go through the church thing and Norman kind of goes a little crazy and starts going crazy into Revelation, stuff, and everything's going to get burned up and we're all going to die. This is right after Kansas blew up. Probably not the best sermon to give right afterwards, right?
Yeah. Oh, fuck Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Kansas, just in general.
What I love about this scene, he's going through his book and he's like, he's actually tearing his Bible. Like, basically, what am I doing now? He sees the visions. He's starting to see Wesley's visions now. And then all of a sudden, like you said, Jason, when, Spectre comes through the stained glass.
Yeah.
That's just, God, beautiful. Holy shit. I don't know why he had to be naked, but...
Well, it's not like you ever saw anything, thankfully.
Yeah, true, yeah. Carefully placed, right? Carefully placed. Essentially, the Spectre has shown up because he knows something bad's going to happen, but he doesn't know when or why. And he's lost his, basically lost his humanity, and so he needs an anchor. And so he's picked Norman McKay to be his anchor. And he's going to live through his visions, essentially. But the thing you find out later is the visions are basically happening as they were going through. They were actually happening. So
yeah, it wasn't so much visions as remote viewing. Also, Old Man Superman looks really impressive.
yes, he does.
With his hair tied back in a ponytail and the fucking beard.
I like this because you could tell the influence from the 90s, when he, grew, and, after his resurrection.
The mullet.
Yeah, the mullet. It was still there. They were still, he was, they still use that for framing a reference,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're showing Superman like he's on a farm.
And
like I said.
In the first panel they have Wonder Woman, does she look a lot like Linda Carter?
That's purposeful. He said he always preferred the Linda Carter.
Okay.
Her look. the costume's different.
Yeah.
But he always preferred how she looked in, as Wonder Woman. By the way, top-notch Wonder Woman. The way he...
Oh, yeah.
You believe that, she is an Amazon princess,
Oh yeah.
She's not like lithe and, very, how they, sometimes they say, oh, they're very powerful and stuff, but they're like skin and bones,
Yeah.
No, she's thick. And I'm not trying to be that disparaging, I mean, that she's a thick woman and she's not fat. She's just very strong. And that's where you would, you would think somebody named Wonder Woman would look, And we find out that Superman has basically given up his humanity. He doesn't even want to know him as Clark anymore. We find out why in a little while. And this whole thing, he's sitting there working on a farm, in his coveralls and stuff, and you find out it's just a projection inside the Fortress of Solitude. I mean, the animals in the farmhouse and stuff are real. It's just that everything around it is fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's basically trying to get him to come back to humanity and try to help humanity because shit's gone wrong. Everything's gone sideways. And so he goes and
they lost the entire fucking segment of our national economy.
Yeah. Our bread basket's gone. Yeah. All most of our food, And if you go to page 33, of course, once again, you see I can show you another reference here. If you look where Superman foot is, the screen right below that one, with the number 7 on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carol O'Connor.
Huh.
Yep. Carol O'Connor. Yeah, and I like Superman with that beard. It's just like a cool beard.
Is that Boba Fett?
Where you see where?
From the screen you just referenced, down one and left one. It's just a recolored Boba Fett.
Yeah, essentially, I don't think that character ever had another name. Like I couldn't think of a like looking through it. I don't think he had a name, but I think that was purposeful.
And he's 2 screens below it too.
Yep. And this is our first introduction to Magog, who is basically he's essentially filling the role Superman had because nobody else would do it.
Yeah, beaten up on a weakened parasite.
Mm-hmm. And then that's what happened. That's why when we find out that
Captain Atom exploded.
Captain Atom exploded and blew up Kansas and irradiated most of the Midwest. I believe they said that they said total loss of America's breadbasket. So it's like, it wasn't just Kansas is gone, but it's so radiated.
Kansas as well as parts of Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri.
Mm-hmm. And then of course, with fallout and radiation and stuff, it pretty much, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Face of global famine. Yeah.
Yep. And this is where you see Wonder Woman once again begging him to come back. And I don't know, I guess he went and thought about it, but I thought that was a good scene of seeing her fly off too.
Yeah. With everything washed in green.
Yeah. Now, this is where I like where they go and visit the other heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we showed the Flash. I like how they amalgamated, all 3.
Yep.
Wally, Jay, and Barry. Because he never says. That's the cool thing. He never tells you which Flash it is. That's what I could like. Oh, that was really cool. And then we go into the Pacific Northwest, where we got Hawkman, which I believe this has nothing to do with the Thanagarian Hawkman because it doesn't fit at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, if anything, it's closer to the old Egyptian versions.
Yeah, exactly. and he's I guess he's just trying to protect the environment and whatnot.
Then you go to my favorite.
Oh yeah, the Green Lantern.
Yeah,
He basically built a city in the orbit of Earth.
the city is made out of his ring.
Yeah. You know what? Do you know which lantern it is, by the way?
Is it supposed to be Hal?
No, it's what's his name? Alan Scott.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Alex Ross said he originally was going to use Hal, right?
Yeah.
And he even come up with designs and stuff like that. But he thought about it and he said, if I really wanted to go with Elder Statesman.
Yeah.
And he felt that Hal just didn't. While Hal is good, no, we're not taking nothing away from Hal. He just felt he didn't fit that role, and thought that Alan would fit it a lot better.
See, because that was my thought. Is like the Flash. I was thinking it might have been Jay Garrick.
Well, yeah, that's why he never said which Flash it was.
Yeah,
it's kind of that's why we a lot of people feel it was like in the Speed Force they somehow amalgamated.
Yeah,
like the Flash is more of a being than he is a person now.
He's a force of nature.
Yeah,
but
pretty
dude,
much.
we are halfway through this show almost, and we're not even a quarter of the way through the comic.
Yeah, we're not even out of the episode. We're not even out of the first issue.
Yep.
Well, I mean, honestly, this is one of those books that you got to go read yourself. And I mean, we gave a plot synopsis of Earth X.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, I mean, you need to go read this for yourself. I just want to gush over how great this intro is, how everything sets up perfectly for the events that follow. But
Yeah.
I don't feel like we need to give a whole synopsis here, personally.
No, not really.
There's a few things I want to touch, but like
Yeah, we're
one
gonna
of them being Gotham.
Yeah, I'm outside of because we've gone to, he talks about heroes and stuff like that, and I wanted to get to Gotham because that's just wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna love this. The first page where they talk about Batman, they show the Gotham Bridge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The gang of kids that are running away from him, from the Bat robots.
Yeah.
Those are the Cosby Kids.
They are. Son of a bitch.
Cosby Kids.
Mm-hmm. Because you scroll down, you can see Fat Albert.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Mushmouth. Yeah, there's all of them. Wow.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I love the design on the next page of the Batman robot.
The Bat robots are amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I like, it just showed one, made you think that he's piling in a giant robot now. Oh no.
Next page, here comes 3 more.
Yep. Basically, Batman took over his city. And then we get to, got hit the very end of this book where the hero, now they said they don't even care. They're just fighting like crazy now because, it's a turf war essentially with the, the different, quote, metahumans. And they get all careless and everything, and they put a bunch of people in danger in a, what was like a monorail type thing?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a cable car.
Cable car, yeah. And it's getting ready to fall into the river.
Yep.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's not falling in the river. By the way, before he saves everybody from the river, he takes out everybody who was fighting.
Yep. And of course, he being the big blue fucking Boy Scout. Without his cool ass beard. But he kept the ponytail.
Yeah, I like the black S too. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that was really cool. Like everybody looking up and saying, and they go look up in the sky.
Yeah, and I think him removing the beard too symbolizes that he's starting fresh on his quest for justice.
Yeah. And how everybody was so excited to see him. That's another one. That look where everybody's all happy.
Yeah.
Look pointing up. It's like, oh, he's back finally. And then Norman realizes, oh crap. He sees another vision. He's like, oops, this might have made things worse. And then we get another thing where it's basically they're saying that the Justice League is going to be the Avenging Angels. So, so is there any more points you want to hit on? Because I don't want to. Like I said, if we do this, we'll be here all night trying to go through the. By the way, I really like that on the Statue of Liberty. It's all broken and everything. That it says Lobo was here.
Now, the big one I want to poke at is the fight at the Gulag.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yes. That was so good.
Just everybody and their brother against the Justice League.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and just to point out, I'm thinking it's in here. By the way, the confrontation that Batman and Superman had was pretty epic too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He kept calling him Clark, just him, riled up. Batman did. That was great. And it was essentially like it's that, like always, like when they do these futuristic things, it's like, Batman's all like, or Superman's always like, well, what happened, Bruce? And Bruce is just like, you quit. It's like,
Yeah.
you gave up. I didn't. Fuck you. Kind of get out of here.
Oh, another thing I really love is they set up Darkseid, and you see like him from behind, and you're like, oh, cool, it's Darkseid, and then they fucking swerve you. It's Orion.
Yep. Orion basically won the battle for Apokolips. He, took over Apokolips, only to find out that the people of Apokolips wanted a despotic ruler, so he had to become a despotic ruler. I like the meeting of the old villains.
Yeah.
Where Vandal Savage feels like Luthor's secretary for not bringing him the sugar.
And I love how the Gulag looked like the old Legion of Doom headquarters.
Yeah, that was another thing he did on purpose. Yep.
I mean, honestly, if you're going to repurpose a building,
Mm-hmm. I thought that was funny when they're, the scene in the bar.
Yeah.
Where they got the living bomb the human bomb to do the pull my finger trick.
And the Creeper's just kind of sitting there being a creepy old dude.
Yeah, he's like an old man. He's a creepy old man. Yeah. You see? Oh yeah. Do you see? That's on page 79. Like Lobo's in that page, by the way. He's all old and fat. Yeah, he's all old and fat. Yeah, he's. It's so, like you said, it's like Dick said, there's so much details and things you could notice. You could probably read it like 100 times and you would still see stuff you didn't, see before.
There's just Despero too.
Yeah.
The best part about this whole everything in this comic is it's, like I said, it's very it's very much like cinematography, but stills. It's like if you were going to shoot a movie of Kingdom Come, this is what you would use as the storyboards to set up shots and everything.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to storyboard this movie. This movie's already been storyboarded, right?
Yeah, exactly. All you got to do is follow Alex Ross's directions to a T, and it's perfect.
Yep.
Just add camera movement pretty much, and make sure you cast people that are good for the roles, and that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. If DC wanted to actually make money off their films instead of using them to fraud insurance companies. Mm-hmm. Oh, did I say that out loud? But seriously though, it's so gorgeous. And
I have another quick reference for you guys.
What's up?
Page 81.
Yeah.
Top page.
Okay.
All right. From top left to top right, or to right to Atom Smasher's face. The Village People. You don't see it?
I'm turning pages.
It's page 81. You'll see it when you get there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's Village People.
That's funny.
It's just kind of like, why not, right? God, see, there you go. I have read this probably like 30 times, and I just now saw Plastic Man.
This has got to be like my 14th or 15th time. That's the first time I've caught Despero.
Yeah.
I cannot gush about the art enough in this book because every single panel is just perfect.
Yep.
There is not a single bad panel in here. There's a couple of times where camera angles worked against what Alex was going for in terms of the composition of a shot or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think that takes away from the art. I just think it's because that angle is a little strange. Like back where we were looking at the giant TV screen with the reporter on it. There's a couple of panels there that show strange perspective during that whole fight and everything. That's just like, you know, what you doing there, Alex? You think you have a camera and not a paintbrush.
yeah, exactly.
It's weird how many freaking big name people are in this Justice League shot.
Right?
Well, I'm looking at, aside from like the people you'd expect, there's like Red Tornado, Starfire, Arsenal, well, Red Arrow, Speedy, whatever.
Yeah. The Red Arrow at that point.
The Ray, Atom Smasher,
Captain Comet.
Adam Strange.
Yep. Power Girl.
Power Girl, yeah. Robin.
Power Woman.
Power
Woman at that point. She finally grew up.
But this
Donna
just,
Troy.
yeah, this is just a ridiculous fucking grouping.
Yep.
And then they pick up, you know, random people from the new generation too.
Yeah. Because you find out, you know, you were talking about the Gulag, and coming up with the idea for the Gulag. Originally, they wanted to put it in Atlantis, where Wonder Woman did.
And Aquaman had none of that shit.
Yeah, I gotta say, Aquaman was very quick to shut that down. He knew.
Like, no.
He knew. He's like, fam, come on. I'm not falling for that. Some of the dialogue is a little hammy.
Especially with Magog.
Yeah.
Oh, what I really love is what fucking Magog brings up when Joker went to Metropolis.
Yeah, that's when you find out that's what basically was the whole reason Superman leaving. Basically what happened is Joker killed everybody at the Daily Planet.
92 men and 1 woman.
And that one woman was Lois. And so, like, it would say everybody was looking for him, and Magog found him first, and he, instead of apprehending him, he killed him.
And got acquitted for it.
Yeah.
Even though Joker had been captured and was in cuffs when Magog shot him down, he got acquitted.
Yeah, because they said he didn't, they feel he didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing wrong. And that pissed Superman off because, I can kind of see where he said, basically the system he fought for his entire life failed. He was clearly guilty. He murdered him. He did murder the Joker. Not saying he didn't deserve it. It's just he did murder him, And so Superman thought it should be open and shut. Nope.
Letter of the law. He was guilty as you could get.
Yeah. So the system failed that Superman fought for had failed him. And that's why he left. And then you find out, like, the whole time, like, everybody thought that he was afraid to fight him and stuff like that. And after it's over with, you realize, honestly, Magog wouldn't have stood a chance.
No.
Because, like, he blasts him with his powerful thing and stuff like that. And Superman's he's just a little singed. He's fine, And then you find out, like, Magog's just an old man, too.
Not only is he an old man, but he's completely haunted by, the million plus people that died when Captain Atom blew up.
Yeah. And you ever notice he kind of looks like Cable?
Well, yeah. I would not be surprised if that wasn't on purpose.
That was on purpose.
Okay.
And he said he went for that look because that was like representative at the time of the modern superheroes.
Yeah.
Like big armor, big guns.
Wasn't
big,
he was trying to take everything that was wrong about him and put him in one character or something like that?
Yeah. Everything that was wrong. Yeah, everything was wrong and put it in a single character. Yeah. I mean, look at he's got the fucking pouches.
And then that character got so big he got put into the modern continuity.
Yeah. And then we had the scene. This scene with the Apocalypse, by the way, is exclusive only to the trades. It wouldn't appear in the original book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Alex Ross said they were running on a timeline, and he wanted to put it in there, and they said, we can't, we don't have enough time. He says, well, if we do a trade, can we do it then? They say, yeah, that's fine. Give people a reason to buy the trade.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, you really think when you first see it, it's Darkseid because it looks exactly like Darkseid from the profile,
Mm-hmm.
And then when he turns around, it's like, oh, wait, that's not Darkseid. And basically, Superman got scot-free to build him a gulag.
And that went over well.
Yeah.
It didn't get completely overrun.
Yep. He kind of messed up in the fact he didn't tell anybody he was doing it, and he put it in Kansas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's do the, before we wrap this up, the battle at the Gulag.
Mm-hmm. Where you find out Lex Luthor had a trump card.
And a really smart one at that.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you also find Bruce Wayne had a bunch of trump cards.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Batman not being prepared.
I mean, Bruce gave him, or not Bruce, Kal-El gave him 2 seconds prep time. I mean, that's more than enough for Batman.
Yeah, it's fine. He's got it.
Let me just say, the page where Batman shows up finally, just fucking awesome panel.
Yeah. There's a little something I'll tell you about that too, which is really cool. But, Alex Ross said he came up with that costume, right? Not knowing about Batman Beyond because it hadn't debuted yet.
Yeah.
And he said, honestly, if I'd have known that was they were going to have that design, I would have used that.
That would have been cool.
Can you imagine Alex Ross drawing the Batman Beyond costume?
And then them taking the inspiration. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Dude, actually, I want to see an Alex Ross Batman Beyond comic series now. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Dude.
That would be so good. All those
that would tick all the right boxes.
Like all those blacks and everything. Oh.
But yeah, the battle at the Gulag sets up actually my favorite page in the entire run.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Captain Marvel standing over a fallen Superman. Just looking as smug as humanly fucking possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so smug you just want to punch him in his perfect fucking jawline,
Yep. And what's really cool about that is everybody before you saw him, you saw Billy Batson throughout the entire book. And everybody was just scared shitless of him. Because they thought Captain Marvel was working for, Lex Luthor, right?
Yeah.
Then you find out, he's not Captain Marvel, he's just Billy Batson. He just looks like Captain Marvel because that's what he grew up to look like. I mean, even Green Arrow said it. He says, "You're kidding me. All this time we've been in mortal fear of Billy Batson." And Alex Ross explained it in the other stuff. He said that the reason why it was because when the world started hating superheroes, Billy Batson couldn't take it, and he said he said the magic words one last time and never became Captain Marvel again. And so,
yeah,
that's what happened. And but you find out the whole time, like Lex Luthor had been brainwashing Billy to hate,
using little clones of Mr. Mind or whatever it was.
Yeah. basically convinced him to hate heroes and to want to kill them and stuff like that. And when they finally, so basically, they thought they could chill him out, long enough, but it didn't work. He got like all those things that he'd been like brainwashed with, got all over him and made him crazy. And he said Shazam, and then that was it. It's over.
So it's like the Justice League is getting their asses handed to him by the inmates. Superman's getting his ass handed to him by Captain Marvel because Superman's biggest weakness, even bigger than Kryptonite, is magic, and Captain Marvel is magic.
Yep.
Meantime, what is it, the UN?
Yeah, the UN, it's like, hey, we're going to use nukes and blow everybody up.
We're going to blow up the Gulag.
Yeah.
We're going to blow up Kansas again.
Yeah, why not?
Little do you know those nukes, they're just Captain Atoms, and they're going to make them, explode.
They clone Captain Atom and put him inside nuclear devices. Because, hey, what is the surest way to ensure an explosion? Captain Atom.
We call him the Captain Atom Bomb.
Yeah. But
so, and then Batman fucking just arrives.
Yeah. But like you said about that panel where, Captain Marvel was looking down on Superman like that.
Yeah.
That could be a poster.
It
that
should be.
So fucking good. And that battle, that battle scene? Holy shit. God bless, it's amazing. Oh, if you notice, like the when they're talking about like using the nukes and stuff, do you see the pilot is a Black Hawk?
Yep.
I thought that was a really cool throwback.
Then Wonder Woman straight up ganks a guy.
Yeah. Probably not the best idea. Because that just tipped everybody off, getting pissed off. But yeah, I agree with Dick here. That scene with Batman and his team descending,
yeah,
that was really cool. God.
And I think my favorite part about that page specifically is it's full of heroes, and there's lots of sort of what if children and all sorts of stuff in there, people that are minor characters and just all sorts of interesting people in that shot. But everyone in that shot is given respect and enough space to give presence without taking away from Batman being front and center.
Did you ever notice the second Batman on that page?
Yes, in the top right.
Yeah.
You know who that is, don't you?
Dick?
Nope.
Tim?
John Henry Irons.
Steel?
Yep, Steel. It's explained that Steel, since Superman left, he started following Batman's ideology. So he became Steel Batter or whatever it was. So yeah.
Then we've got what looks like Wildcat. We've got Dinah Lance, Blue Beetle, Creeper.
Yeah,
Ollie, of course.
Think, there's Dr. Fate too. He's the one teleporting into the battle. That Dr. Fate's in the background.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like the look on Batman's face too. Like when he's like
just like smug as hell.
He's just like, I have been waiting 30 years for this.
So yeah, Batman shows up, Wonder Woman straight up murks a guy, and it causes the fight to go into overtime.
Yep. And then Batman and Wonder Woman start fighting. And that's the reference from the earlier in the book.
Yep.
Because everybody assumed it was going to be Batman and Superman, but no, this is what they were talking about,
And they see the bombers come in.
Mm-hmm.
And then more Superman getting his ass handed to him.
Yep. He's doing his best. He's doing his best, then you realize how powerful Captain Marvel is in this one. This is what really got away from me. Like, especially when he started striking him with lightning, magical lightning.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So Batman and Wonder Woman take down all the bombers except for one.
Mm-hmm.
That bomber completely fucking does what it's supposed to do.
Yep.
And Superman's left with a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Stop the bomb. Stop.
Or let it
hit. Stop Billy Batson. You know. Like, everything literally is just right on Superman's shoulders at this point. Like, he's the only one that can decide everything.
Yep. I mean, he even tried to heat vision the thing, and he found out, like, he couldn't.
Yep.
You know?
So he lets Billy Batson go.
Yeah.
And Billy just does the right thing.
Yep. The true hero came back.
And freaking just kicked Superman out of the way.
Yep.
And flew up to the bomb and
destroyed it.
Shazammed the shit out of it.
Yeah. Killed himself, and a lot of other people died. Let's not, we're not gonna sugarcoat this.
Yeah, there's a lot of skeletons.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, like, there's Blue Beetle. Yeah, you can see, like, some of you can tell who they are, you know?
Yep.
Like, Blue Beetle, I think, some of them just petrified, you know? And Superman thought they were all dead.
But
That's
as
why he cried out, yeah.
As it turns out, it looks like Green Lantern saved a bunch of them.
Yep, it was like, I think they said Green Lantern and Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And then basically, at this point, Spectre says, well, job's done. Let's go. I'm out. And Norman McKay said, oh, no, you're not leaving yet.
I'm not finished with you.
Yeah, pretty much. A 5'8", 140-pound pastor tells the Spectre.
Right.
Essentially, he knew what was going to happen, that Superman was going to go to the UN and take revenge. And he was basically doing that. He was going to tear down. He was basically going full, Samson on the Philistines at this point. He was bringing down the entire temple, which was the UN, Say he welded the doors shut. Nobody was getting out,
Yeah. So Norman McKay calms Superman down, and you get the good ending. Bad guys are, in shock collars and shit. The good guys are doing good guy shit. Bruce gets to pick on Lex Luthor every day of his life.
I like the very end where they all meet up at the restaurant.
Yep.
And find out Wonder Woman's pregnant, and they want, like, Batman to help raise the child.
Be the godfather, yeah.
To be the godfather because he needs a human perspective as well. I think the best part of that scene that was like, walk in and it says, "Greetings, citizen, smoking or not smoking." It's a dude dressed like Superman. And Clark's got a look on his face like,
I think my favorite part of it's when, Bruce is sitting there, cutting up his steak and everything. And Diana's like, "We have something to announce." And he just goes, "You're pregnant." And just the looks on their faces like, how the fuck did he know that?
Yep. I like how they were like, because this is a theme restaurant. We didn't really talk too much about it, but this is a theme restaurant about old superheroes and shit like that.
Like Planet Hollywood style.
Yeah, Planet Hollywood. It's called Planet Krypton because, whatever. And I like the fact that they all had like these themes, like dishes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're all like, I want this and I want that and blah, blah, blah. And
the Dial H for a hoagie and the Man of Beef are probably my two favorites.
That was a good line, too. It's like, the waitress the waiter comes up and says, "Hi, I'm Robin," and Batman's like, "Of course you are." Yeah, I'll just have the giant turtle soup and borrow the casserole, and then he's like, Bruce is like, "Steak, well done." He's a witch. There's the man of beef. There's the steak. Well done.
And then they bring him his steak medium rare. But let's just talk about the fact that Bruce Wayne likes his steak well done. What is it with billionaires and liking steak well done?
Weirdos.
Steak is meant to be eaten rare or medium rare, but mostly rare. Unless it's prime rib, they need it medium rare.
Well, you got to think about it. Let's look at it. Let's say specifically from Batman's perspective. He's always like, be as fast and efficient as possible, and he knows that burning the steak will be very fast, right?
That was the case. He'd eat all his steaks rare. It goes in the pan for like 2 minutes each side, and then you take it out.
You just want a flame kissed, you know?
I want it to move when I bite into it. Bruce Wayne.
That's how I like mine.
No, I just like the everybody's perspective here on the restaurant. Clark is like, it's kind of humbling and a little unsettling, and Bruce is just does not like the idea at all. And then Wonder Woman's all like, people pay tribute to the gods, like as a joke, and like it almost goes over Superman's head for a second.
Yeah.
And it's really funny, like the little throwaway where you hear spinach and cottage cheese. That's a Spectre platter, and it's the fucking Spectre in his human form, sitting there with Norman McKay. Which form was that? Crispus Allen?
No, that's
or Jim Corgan?
What's his? That's Jim Corgan, the original. Yeah.
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 It's been ages since I've read anything Spectre.
Yeah. Well, see, that was the thing at the end of it. At the end of the actual, fight and the story and everything, Norman convinced the Spectre to maybe you should revisit your humanity. The Spectre's going to chill as a human for a little bit, I think.
Kind of like the inverse of what Hal Jordan did as the Spectre.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch that the first time. If you look near the end there when they're going out the door for the restaurant, it's why am I having problems with his name?
Point to me
Marvel,
where you're looking at.
Marvel is right there on the cover.
Oh yeah,
of
Wiz Comics. Yeah, he sure
is. That's a nice little touch there, you know. And he's also headed out the door with them as well, and then it's white out there, so that sort of gives that connotations of heaven, as it were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dream about the future and everything. It's a nice little touch there. I like that at the end.
Yeah. And of course, like I said, trade paperback, and they kind of show all the pencils and everything like that, which they're good too. They're like I said, this is one of those things you actually do want to read the entire book,
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I got to go back through all of this because I got done reading, and then I didn't get to any of this because I was ready for the show.
Yeah. I mean, it even shows how he uses photo references and stuff like that. It's amazing. It's really good. And some of the promotional art, where people, what is this going to be about? Well, we're not going to tell you because here's the promotional art. You're like, oh,
yeah. And I remember that's how it was back then too. Like Wizard fucking hyped it up, and you're just like, oh,
because it kept showing you like this, like these, pictures of, like a paint, Superman, which, like you said, it had some almost photorealism to it. Not quite,
just a little bit.
Yeah, we were getting, not quite Uncanny Valley, but. You really look at it, it's like, you think, when you look at that, you're like, man, these people could actually exist in our world,
Yeah, everybody's faces are all realistically proportioned and look good, and just Alex Ross has a great understanding of how humans are supposed to look. And seriously, DC, I know you guys don't listen to our podcast because only 3 people do, but if you ever hear this podcast, please just make Kingdom Come into a movie and just use the trade paperback as your framework for the shots and everything. And you will make so much money, it will not even be funny.
And I would say split it into 2 parts, because It's too much story to tell. And
oh, definitely. Yeah. No, you do a part 1 and then a part 2, and it would be perfect, and you could get so much out of it.
But film them simultaneously.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, so you don't want to lose your.
Yeah, no, you literally you put out the first part and then you wait like 3-4 months
and
put out the
do
second
part 2.
part.
Yeah,
like what Matrix did for parts 2 and 3,
Yeah.
and not what Marvel's doing
rushed
for
because-
Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, I was gonna say not rushed like 2 and 3 of the Matrix were, because they were definitely rushed, and also that has to do with the fact that they
put it
didn't
this
think
way.
they were ever
Put
gonna
it
make
this way.
those movies.
Film them simultaneously, but take care of them like if
Think more Lord of the Rings.
like if they were Lord of the Rings. Exactly.
Yeah.
I would almost say that Kingdom Come could be a 3-part movie because there's so much going on. You could literally have 3 acts as one big trilogy. You know.
You could, but I would say it would be safer to go with 2, just because you don't want to fatigue your audience.
I'll put it this way: you could do the first part of the whole thing. Superman, like the first part, starts with Norman McKay, gets to where Superman comes back. Then you cut it off there. That's your God, I can't think of it, cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to the point of when you finally have the confrontation. Superman has his confrontation with Magog, and last line he says in that part is, "We are at war."
Yeah.
And then you could, finish. Then you have your crescendo at the end, the final part. If you want to do it in 3 parts,
Yeah, I would do it in 2, but that would just be me. I'd cut it off at similar place though. Now we're at war, and then yeah, and I would compress the intro sort of bit a little bit more, so that way you can focus more on the important parts, like just at building the universe and everything, and then setting everything up and doing some lore building and stuff. But there's lots of ways you could approach this as a film and not fuck it up, because it's just so perfectly written. It's so good. It's probably one of those few times where I want to see this as a film, because it's so rich and complex that I think it would turn into a film very well.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I wouldn't turn Invisibles into a movie. I don't think that would make a good movie.
No, you know what?
I think it would only work as a comic.
No, I'm going to say it. This should not be a movie. This should be an animated.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
no, I'm not
that's like how
talking
we're
live
born.
action. I was talking about an animated movie, dude.
Yeah.
You can't do this live action. You wouldn't be able to find people that would look like them. I was talking good voice actors, people that have the right voice for everything.
We automatic Kevin Conroy's going to be Batman. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, I feel like this would make a really good animated movie. I feel like it's something that DC could put in theaters as an animated movie and make money off of.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like this is one of the few times where, instead of doing like a Justice League movie, which I love the Justice League movies, don't get me wrong, but they're definitely not, don't put those in theaters. Those are definitely, Netflix and for TV movies, because they're good, but no one's going to want to go pay $10 to go see them.
$10?
But something as epic as Kingdom Come, you could get away with putting both of them in theaters, and it would be perfect. It would make so much money. And I think that's where DC needs to start going with their cinematic stuff, because they really can't do live action.
It's really like it's kind of the fault of the way the DC universe, I'm talking about the original, is set up. Whereas Marvel, the reason that their stuff works so well on film is because it's believable. If that makes sense. And like, oh yeah, a guy, getting fucking Vita rays and a super soldier serum, that's kind of weird, but it could, maybe it could happen, like it could happen. You could believe that a guy would invent an Iron Man, a suit and become an Iron Man,
Yeah.
Yeah, you could believe a dude would irradiate himself and become the Incredible Hulk. You know?
Yeah, no, definitely. They're, everything with them is most of their sci-fi is hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Marvel a little more rooted in reality. Whereas, Superman is definitely fantasy sci-fi, science fantasy.
Yeah.
A lot of it is. You look at
Batman is like they're probably their Batman is probably their most believable character.
And even then, he's still very, very fantastical.
Because he's almost. How did somebody say it? Batman. We were talking about Deus Ex Machina earlier.
Yeah,
that is Batman.
Yeah, no, you're not
Batman
wrong
is
at
the
all.
Deus Ex Machina.
Another thing too with Batman is that he is. I wouldn't say a superhuman, but he's a demi-human. He's at that point where he's peak humanity, and that's why he's fantastical. Yeah, they don't. I would like to see actually a hard science fiction Batman, like it's
things based in some reality. Yeah,
but I think that would would be awesome, like a 1970s like Batman, in groovy Gotham, man.
Right.
All right. Well,
cocaine busts and shit.
I think we've come where we wanted to go with this.
Yeah, pretty much. Go read this, please. For the love of God, go now.
Go,
as soon as you're done listening to this, go read it.
And then donate.
While you're still here, go read it.
Donate to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/graded.5. Spell it out. Go to your local comic shop, buy comics, support the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. Support Caleb Prime's Patreon. Support Chapo Trap House.
Yeah.
Don't support.
Don't. But we'll see you next time.